Here's the good news. In the midst of all my failure, God's the God of the heart. When he knows my heart, when he sees me doing what the Apostle Paul challenges in this passage, pressing on towards the goal and not letting my past define me, that's the great news. The scary news is you can't fool him. 95% of America says they believe in God. You know what? You can't fool God. That's not true. All you have to do is look around and know what's happening in our world and in our country to know that isn't true. They don't want to serve him. They don't want to submit to him. They don't want to be obedient to him. Please hear me this morning. It doesn't work to just proclaim God and live your own life. Here's the thing. We don't have to get bent out of shape about it. He knows. He knows our mistakes. He knows our failures. He knows where you truly are, but you can't fool God. And there's some of you, and you're proclaiming it with your mouth, but you're not living it in your life and in your heart. You can fool me, you can fool your family, you can fool a lot of people. And Jesus pointed out that God's blessings comes from obeying the truth, not just knowing it. He says in John 3:17, now that you know these things, you'll be blessed if you do them. You see, if you're truly a believer in Jesus Christ, it will have to change your relationships. It will change your finances. It will change the way you act to people and respond. It will change your attitude. It will change your need to be right or the need to claim your rights, because Jesus Christ gave up his rights so that I can have heaven as my home. Some of the most miserable people in the world aren't non-believers. It's believers who are living selfishly. It's believers who are not giving back of their time, their talents, their treasure, their finances. It includes them all. It's people who are in willful disobedience. See, God's the God of the heart. He knows your heart when you fail or disobey him. And there's a huge difference between trying and failing in willful disobedience. You know why? Because there's a heart difference there. See, when we're in willful disobedience, we're just saying, God, I don't want any part of you in this area of my life. But there are times where I'm trying and I just fall short. Amen? Anybody else? And the second thing that happens is the Spirit is trying to move you back into obedience. You know it. God knows it. Probably family and friends know it. But you begin to ignore the Spirit. And then you get in a dangerous place. When you start ignoring the Spirit, when you start pushing back the Spirit as it's trying to bring you into obedience, you're going to quench the Spirit. You're going to dampen the Spirit. Your walk with the Lord will slowly begin to deteriorate. It isn't the same because the Spirit of God is trying to help you and move you into another direction, but you're saying no. And all of a sudden, you've lost your zeal. You don't hear God as much as you used to. You don't have enough time for God anymore, whether it be in your private devotions or in serving him in some way. And things begin to slowly change, and it's a process. And somewhere in that process, we start losing our joy and our happiness. And we've put this damper on the relationship. And then even when we do work for the kingdom, it becomes more of a chore and a drudgery. Joy in the Lord is an easy thing to lose, but it's also just an incredibly easy thing to get back. You know how? Get your heart back in the right place. Start moving back to where you know you can be. And so let me ask you, what do you need to be doing, but you're not? What has God told you to do, but you haven't started it yet because, I really want to do that, God, but I don't have enough time, or I really want to do that, God, but I'm not sure I can afford it, and we have all these excuses and rationalizations. You're stealing your own joy.